It seems like just the other day I was talking to Luther, lamenting the condition of the house. I went on and on about how unsightly the pile of garbage is out by the garden, how short on money we are, the animals needing more hay than we have to get them through the winter, the gritty fireplace soot dusting all the ceilings, walls, drapes, and furniture, the wallpaper peeling, the grime smears on the windows so bad I can hardly see out, the junk piling up in the house, the things he refuses to get rid of, even the shortage of candles, so that I can't even read my Bible at night. And do you know what he said? He said he thought I was doing the best I could. Said I could have his christening candle, that he didn't have a use for such a thing anymore. He just read the Bible from his memory as he lay in his cot behind the wood stove, listening as God shook the trees and whistled through the eaves. Even though I told him not to be stupid, his gesture warmed me inside, and made me look tenderly on him, so that later I fixed him up a nice warm glass of brandy and milk before bedtime. It's been hard since Luther died. I haven't had one visitor since the funeral 9 months ago. Used to be Miss Pennywalker would drive out with her husband Joe every third Sunday afternoon to call on me, bringing with her some small gift, a clutch of lilacs or a crock of her apple butter. Now it is only Joe who comes to chop firewood. I pay him 15 cents for his labor and he thanks me kindly every time, but lately there is a turning away in his eyes, and when I ask after Miss Pennywalker, he fairly turns bright red, dips his head, and says vaguely that she isn't feeling well. I insist I will call on her and bring her some hearty soup and a pint of brandy to soothe her ills, but he presses me not to, saying Miss Pennywalker doesn't want for visitors at all. Politely, he's made it clear I wouldn't be welcome. But I never really cared for Miss Pennywalker anyway, just a mealy-mouthed gossip. I tolerated her visits, but now that she doesn't stop in, I think I miss her, approximately. So you see, they say I've never tried, but I've tried. Lord knows I've tried. I've been desperate to be accepted, but they've never given me a chance. They've always nudged me out, looked through me as if I didn't exist, judged me because I lived in a grand house, because Pa was a drunk, because Luther was a cripple, because Mr. Piper jilted me. They've never bothered to figure me out on my own, independent of the family or cruel gossip. I know none of them have the courage to tell me what they really think, why they've stopped visiting and now receive me coldly. I'm not dumb. I know what they all must think. They think I killed Luther. Think I killed him with a brick to the head while he slept on the cot behind the wood stove. But how could that be? He was dead a whole day before I knew it. His head caved in on one side, the other side resting on the pillow, just like he was sleeping. It was Hoffman who started the rumor, I'm sure of it. After he found Luther wandering blind and lost in the woods a few months before, folks began to treat me different. He told everyone it was me that snipped the wire Funkhauser had strung up for Luther to find his way about the farm. So now, after that rumor, of course they think it was me who killed him. They've no proof, but they're not ones to care about the particulars. They think they know everything, think they know what went on in this house between Luther and I, but they've no idea. He was almost completely blind. Getting lost was bound to happen. And that wire Funkhauser used was old, off a rusted spool he used to mend his fences. Imagine trying to kill your own brother. Imagine me, a cold-blooded murderer. It's absurd. All just part of their plot to get their grubby paws on my land, but they can have it. I'm old now, and without anyone to look after, I know my time is drawing near. So parcel it out, burn it down, let it rot for all I care. But still, there's the urge to have my say. My turn to trace the outline of the stories that have been hitched up onto mine, with nary an invitation, conspiring to reroute and twist my life up with theirs to this awful empty end. You see, it's Luther that kept me going, which is why it's so shocking they blame me. But then no one's ever bothered to ask or inquire after my welfare. They've no idea what's meant anything to me. I loved my brother. I did. More than they could ever know. They could never understand what's gone on in this house. No one could. I hardly understand it myself. Used to be there was so much to keep me busy. The fire had to be stoked, the wood pile kept up, had to be water in the basin and laundry on the line. The drying clothes incessantly waving hello, or was it goodbye? What with all the chores, the cooking, and upkeep, I didn't even notice the passing of time, the wasting of a life. Those days I fell asleep fast and heavy as a rock plunged into the creek. But with Luther gone, the days yawn empty. I find myself awake till dawn, sleepless and craven before my doubts. A kind word of reassurance is all I need in that hour, though nothing but the creak in the floor and the wind in the door answer my plea. Pointless and foolish to carry on like this, I know. Still a body gets lonesome shunted away from others. Without Luther, there isn't much else to hang my hat on. There is no reason to do anything anymore. It's gotten to be so much that I don't even leave my chair. I'm surely moving fast now into the arms of the Lord. These days I do nothing but knit the day away, knowing that if I study on this fabric of lives long enough, ruminate on the anatomy of each dropped and split stitch, that I can force the truth out into the open, and once made plain, take up my crochet hook and secure the loose and dangling threads, weave them in, pull each rung through each loop, till the fabric is fixed and presentable, tolerable, speakable. Thank you.